In this video, we'll explore the specific strategy of improving your accounts receivable. Now, decreasing accounts receivable is, again, part of the strategy to increase your gross income. You're looking to collect more of the money that is owed to you. Unfortunately, every time you do dentistry, you do not always collect 100% of what is expected to be collected, what is owed to you. So, one of the ways to improve accounts receivable is to bill your patients in a different way. And we're starting to get into a system, and we're going to have a whole series of videos separate from this overhead discussion just about the different systems you can place into your practice. So we're merging into that territory here, and that's good. Managing overhead is something that is accomplished through a couple of the different systems that you can have in place. So in my practice, we have an accounts receivable system. It's a written down thing where anyone in the office can look and see what our strategies are for how we interact with patients and with insurance companies about the money that is owed to us. So this is an example of a standard bill that would be generated using my practice management software, and it's okay. But what I really don't love about it is down here, this what they call an aging row here, aging columns. I don't like that because it looks, first of all, I'm sending my patient something in the mail that looks like every other bill they get, like from the electric company or whatever. And I also don't like that as this ages here, it's like I'm almost telling them, hey, don't worry, you can wait till it's 90 days overdue before I start giving you angry phone calls. I don't think that that's a very proactive way to display what is owed to you. You should be paid on time for your services. And when you put an aging column in your bill, you're giving them a mixed message. So if I'm going to send a patient a correspondence, it would look something more like this. And you can see that this information is still self-populating, so we're able to accomplish this with minimal effort. We're not typing an original letter each time. But what you see here is just simply saying you owe us this money, your account is overdue, we're assuming this is the result of an oversight, and as a courtesy we have not charged the account any late fees. And then it's very clearly written here, please call us to avoid any late fees. So this is a very friendly letter. Now, again, here is the actual system that's in place. First, on the date of treatment, we expect to be paid for the services rendered. The patient portion of their treatment is expected to be paid, and we've told them this before the treatment is done. If they still just forgot their checkbook or are unable to do it, and that's kind of a change of plans, we have some ways to still try to collect payment from them that day. But let's say they were to leave. Within 2 weeks, within 14 days, they then get a polite phone call saying, hey, you probably have forgotten to send us that check in the mail, and we can take a credit card payment now, or whatever it would be. We have a whole script for that. Then at 30 days, they get the billing statement, a friendly letter. That's the letter that I just showed you. Then at 45 days, they get another phone call, slightly more stern. At 60 days, a slightly more stern letter. At 75 days, a fairly stern phone call. At 90 days, the billing statement, and they get a letter letting them know that they will be sent to collections if this matter isn't resolved. At 100 days, the collection process has been started. We've referred this over to our collections agency. Now, it's very rare, when you have a regimented system in place, it's very rare that an accounts receivable, especially on the patient side, would progress all the way to the end here. But it's time to do some reflection about your office. What is your collections and accounts receivable system? Sometimes we're not regimented in making these phone calls and these letters, and so people can fall through the cracks, and then 90 days hits, maybe you've barely spoken with this patient since they left your office without paying. And to send them to collections would be a pretty harsh next step. Yeah, they owed you the money, but you didn't really have good communication in letting them know about this. So this is a strategy for managing overhead, but it also gets us into our conversation about what are some of the systems that you can have in place to have a better practice.